and so he required, and the young man washed his hand as aforementioned. Then he sat down as if disgusted and frightened withal, and dipping his hand in the recount, began eating and at the same time showing signs of anger, and we wondered at him with extreme wonderment, for his hand trembled and the morsel in it shook, and we saw that his thumb had been cut off, and he ate it with his 4 fingers only. So we said to him, Allah upon thee, what happened to thy thumb? Is thy hand thus by the creation of God, or hath some accident befallen it? O my brothers, he answered, it is not only thus with this thumb, but also with my other thumb, and with both my great toes, as you shall see. So saying, he uncovered his left hand and his feet, and we saw that the left hand was even as the right, and in like manner that each of his feet lacked its great toe. When we saw him after this fashion, our amazement waxed still greater, and we said to him, we have hardly patience enough to await thy history and to hear the manner of the cutting off of thy thumbs, and the reason of thy washing both hands 120 times. Know then, said he, that my father was chief of the merchants, and the wealthiest of them all in Baghdad city during the reign of the Caliph Harun al-Rashid, and he was much given to wine drinking and listening to the lute, and the other instruments of pleasance, so that when he died he left nothing. I buried him and had predilections of the Quran made for him, and mourned him for days and nights. Then I opened his shop and found that he had left in it few goods, while his debts were many. However, I compounded with his creditors for time to settle their demands, and betook myself to buying and selling, paying them something from week to week on account, and I gave not over doing this till I had cleared off his obligations in full and began adding to my principal. One day as I sat in my shop, suddenly and unexpectedly there appeared before me a young lady, than whom I never saw a fairer, wearing the richest raiment and ornaments, and riding a she-mule, with one slave walking before her and another behind her. She drew the rein at the head of the exchange bazaar, and entered following by a eunuch, who said to her, O my lady, come out and away without telling anyone, lest thou light a fire which will burn us all up. Moreover, he stood before her, guarding her from view, while she looked at the merchant shops. She found none open but mine, so she came up with the eunuch behind her, and sitting down in my shop saluted me. Never heard I aught fairer than her speech, or sweeter than her voice. Then she unveiled her face, and I saw what she was like. Then she unveiled her face, and I saw that she was like the moon, and I stole a glance at her, whose sight caused me 1,000 sighs, and my heart was captivated with love of her, and I kept looking again and again upon her face, repeating these verses. Say to the charmer in the dove-hued veil, death would be welcome to abate thy bale. Favor me with thy favors that I live, see, I stretch forth my palm to take thy veil. When she heard my verse, she answered me, saying, I've lost all patience by despite of you. My heart knows nothing save love plight to you. If aught I sight save charms so bright of you, my parting end not in the sight of you. I swear I'll never forget the right of you, and fain this breast would soar to the height of you. You made me drain the love cup, a love cup tender for the delight of you. Take this, my form, wherever you go, and when you die, entomb me in the sight of you. Call on me in my grave, and hear my bones sigh their responses to this rite of you. And where I asked of slave is poor, but have patience till the merchants open their shops, and I will suit thee with what thou wilt. Then we sat talking, I and she, and I was drowned in the sea of her love, dazed in the desert of my passion for her, till the merchants opened their shops, when I rose and fetched her all she sought to the tune of 5,000 dirhams. She gave the stuff to the eunuch, and going forth by the door of the exchange, she mounted mule and went away without telling me whence she came, and I was ashamed to speak of such trifle. When the merchants had dunned me for the price, I made myself answerable for 5,000 dirhams and went home drunken with the love of her. They set supper before me, and I ate a mouthful, thinking only of her beauty and loveliness, and sought to sleep, but sleep came not to me. And such was my condition for a whole week, when the merchants required their monies of me. But I persuaded them to have patience for another week, at the end of which time she again appeared mounted on a she-mule, and attended by her eunuch and 2 slaves. She saluted me and said, O my master, we have been long in bringing thee the price of the stuffs, but now fetch the shroff and take thy monies. So I sent for the money changer, and the eunuch counted out the coin before him and made it over to me. Then we sat talking, I and she, till the market opened, when she said to me, Get me this and that. So I got her from the merchants whatso she wanted, and she took it, and went away without saying a word to me about the price. As soon as she was out of sight, I repented of what I had done, for the worth of the stuffs bought for her amounted to 1,000 dinars. And I said in my soul, What manner of love is this? She hath brought me 5,000 dirhams, and hath taken goods for 1,000 dinars. I feared lest I should be beggared through having to pay the merchants their money, and I said, They know none other but me. This lovely